Jungkook stood backstage, the lights dimming as his final song echoed through the massive arena. Fans screamed his name, their energy electrifying, but tonight he felt nothing. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He hesitated before answering, pressing it to his ear as he wiped sweat from his brow. "Your father is dead. You are the new boss." The world tilted. The words rang in his head like a death sentence. His father, the ruthless leader of the most feared Mafia syndicate, was gone. And now everything fell onto him. That night, drowning in grief and the crushing weight of his new reality, he sought escape in the arms of a mysterious woman. Her touch was soft, her lips warm, her presence a fleeting distraction from the darkness swallowing him whole. By morning she was gone. Jungkook never expected to see her again. But fate had other plans. The search for her was fruitless. He didn't know why he looked. Perhaps because she had been the only thing keeping him sane that night. But she had disappeared without a trace, leaving him with nothing but a memory. Then, months later, his informant brought him something far more shocking. "The woman you slept with. She was pregnant." Jungkook's blood ran cold. His child. And she had run before he could even know. Rage burned in his chest. He wasn't just some one-night stand to walk away from. He was the head of the Mafia. He would find her. But before he could, she found him first. Yuna gripped the job application in her trembling hands. A maid position in one of the wealthiest mansions in the city. It was the only chance she had to provide for her baby. She never expected the mansion to belong to him. The moment she stepped inside, she felt it. An eerie familiarity, an unshakable tension. Then she saw him. Jungkook stood at the top of the grand staircase, his dark eyes piercing through her like a blade. Something in his gaze made her chest tighten. She didn't recognize him, but he recognized her. And for the first time in his life, Jungkook played a game of patience. He wouldn't expose her just yet. He wanted to know why she ran away. Jungkook watched her. She was too careful, too guarded. She flinched when people got too close. She always snuck out after work. She was hiding something. So he followed her. And that's when he saw him. A small child, no older than a year, with soft brown eyes. His eyes. Jungkook's entire world shattered. His child. He clenched his fists, his heartbeat thundering in his ears. She had kept this from him. She had stolen his son. And he was done waiting. Yuna stepped into the dimly lit hallway, freezing when she saw Jungkook standing there. His expression was unreadable, but his dark eyes burned with something dangerous. "You lied to me," he said, his voice low and deadly. Yuna's throat went dry. I don't know what you're talking about." Jungkook took a step closer. "You ran away," he continued, his tone eerily calm. "You took my child and disappeared." Tears welled in Yuna's eyes. "I had to." "Why?" His voice hardened. "Because I didn't want my baby to be part of this world," she burst out. "The Mafia, the violence. I wanted to keep him safe." Jungkook's jaw tightened. "And you thought keeping him from me was safer?" She had no answer. Jungkook exhaled sharply. "You're not running again, Yuna." His gaze locked onto hers, unwavering. "Not with my son." The next morning, Yuna found herself standing in a room filled with silk and lace. A white wedding dress hung before her. "You're marrying me," Jungkook had told her. "It's the only way to protect you and the baby." She had no choice. The underworld was cruel, and his enemies would come for them the moment they knew she existed. But marriage was only the beginning. Jungkook was cold at first. Possessive, demanding, unreadable. Yet little by little she saw the cracks. The way he softened when he held their child. The way he stayed up at night, watching over them both. The way his fingers lingered just a second too long when he brushed a strand of hair from her face. Against all logic, against all odds, she was falling for him again. But happiness never lasted in their world. The first threat came as a whisper. Jungkook's enemies had discovered his greatest weakness. His family. One moment, Yuna was in the mansion with their son. The next she was gone. Jungkook saw red. He tore through his enemies, leaving nothing but destruction in his wake. He would burn the entire underworld to get them back. And when he finally did, when he saw her bruised, broken but still breathing, he swore he would never let her go again. He held her close, whispering, "I won't lose you again." The war was over. The enemies were gone. Jungkook stood on the balcony, watching Yuna cradle their son, laughter finally returning to her eyes. She turned to him, hesitant, before finally saying the words he had been waiting for. "I love you." Jungkook smiled, a rare, genuine smile. "I know." He pulled her into his arms. Their son nestled between them. The Mafia world would always be dangerous. But now he had something worth fighting for. His wife, his child, his family. And he would protect them at all costs.